All right, so now we're going to create a simple view to add items to the cart, and then we are going to actually update the total. So open up the cart views, and it's just going to be define add to cart. It's going to take in a request, and then we're going to have it return. Well, we're not going to actually have it return render. We're going to have it redirect, because it should redirect after it adds to the cart. It should just redirect right into the cart, right? It shouldn't actually redirect to actually seeing the cart. So we'll import HTTP response redirect, and then we also need to import reverse. So from Django.core.url resolvers import reverse, and we'll see what reverse does in just a second. All right, so add to cart. I'm going to just go ahead and grab this regular. This is going to be the cart we're going to work with by default right now. We are going to change it later to where it's going to be a little bit smarter than that. But so we have this cart object, right? I'm going to put that colon there. All right, so we have a cart. And we also need a product. So we'll do product slug here. Or just slug. How about we just do slug? So then now we need to grab that product itself. So try, well, we'll have to import the product. So above the relative imports, do the absolute from products.models import product. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try to grab a product. So product equals to product.objects.get slug equals to slug. And if we have an exception, so if that doesn't exist, so except product does not exist. This does not exist is for any model. So you could have the model right here, and then does not exist will be the exception. So if it goes to try and get a slug that doesn't exist, it's going to say something. And we could actually just we can just pass it for now, and then accept pass as well. We can handle this later, but for now, let's just keep it at that. So now we have a cart and a product. Right, so what we'll do is then add into the cart objects, cart.products, add product. All right, so what this is going to add it to that many-to-many field. That's all that's doing. So when you want to add something to the many-to-many field, that's what you do. So we'll say we want to do if product not in cart.products.all, or sorry, not in, but not product in. If it's not in there, then add it. Else, we're going to do cart.products.remove product. So instead of calling this add to cart, we should just say update cart, right? Because it's really just going to update it. It's going to add the product in, or it's going to remove it. And then once it's done, we're going to return an HTTP response redirect, and it would go to cart, but we've seen before that might run into some issues, so we'll use reverse, and we are going to get the cart name itself. I believe we called it cart in our URLs. Let's look. Yes, we called it cart. So all this is going to do is going to give a redirect after we add any product to update cart. After we do that, it's going to automatically redirect us into seeing the actual cart. So now that we have this, we actually have to create a URL for it. So if we go into URLs, we can actually copy this products one, because that is almost exactly what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to call it cart slug, and then carts, and then update cart, and then I'll call the name update cart. All right, so update cart is the view, and all right, cool. So now let's actually try this out. And in our view for our actual product, let's go into single product, where we have that link for add to cart, which is right here. We're going to use that URL, so URL quotes update cart, and then it's going to take product.slug as an argument. All right, so if we save that, let's actually check this out. We'll go back into our home page, look at one of our products, hit add to cart, takes us to cart. It actually removed it from the cart because it was already in the cart, right? So let's go back again and add it. All right, there it goes. So it's now adding and removing, right? So it's not that smart because it still says add to cart, but it is adding or removing it from the cart. Cool. So now that we can do that, we should actually save the cart or run a signal that updates the total for the cart. So there's going to be a few different ways that we can actually update the cart. All right, so what we could do here is after this stuff's run, we could do cart.total equals to like the sum of all the products, so all of these, and then finding the total of those for that. Right, so all those products, we want to get a total number for those. And the way to do that is just by, we can iterate through all of them. So let's just say new total equals to 0.00. And then for item in cart.products.all, we could do new total plus equals, so plus equals item.price. And then all we do is set the cart.total equals to new total, and then cart.save. All right, so let's think about what this is doing. It's saying new total. It's going to set this total each time you add or remove a cart item, and then it's going to set that cart total to that, and then it's going to take us back to the cart. So let's actually see that in action. Let's go to our product. So product 2, I'm going to add it to cart. And it looks like we have an issue with our float error here. So we have a float. We can't add floats and decimals. So all I'm going to do is call this a float item. And there, now it actually adds it. So all I did, it said it can't add floats and decimals. So this right here is a float. We had a decimal field, and I have to convert it into a float. And that's how I do it. So it's very similar, but if you actually print it out, item.price, so if I print item.price, and then I print item or float of item.price, I could actually see where that error is. So if I refresh, I printed those two things out. Oh, I actually have to run add to cart to do it. So add the t-shirt, subtracted the t-shirt, add it. Okay, so now it will show me. It shows me the same exact number, but how it's stored is in as a decimal field, not in as a float number by default. So when you're adding to a number like this, you would just do it like that. We could do other ways. We could figure out other ways to actually add this together, but just keep that in mind when you're going to add the decimal places together, and you see that error, can't add float and decimal field, because you might see it again later. So let's actually add it in. When you see something like that, all you just need to know is I need to find which one is the decimal field, and I need to convert that into a float, because a float is something that's useful in Python all across the board, where decimal field is more Django specific. So we're just going to, again, turn that back into a float, and we can do a refresh here, and then there we go. And also something you should have noticed is it actually adds that it adds the URL. This slug goes to the top of the cart. So up here, if I just did product 2, that would actually remove it from the cart too. So if we wanted to just remove it, it's very simple. The way we currently have it set up is I would do href, and I'm going to do a relative link here. So I'm going to do item.slug. So it's the reason it's a relative link is because I don't have a slash here at all. And you can say remove. So now we go in here, we see removes there, and I click on it and it actually does remove it. And now we don't have anything in our cart. So if I go back and add something, I can do that. But that remove, we don't have to make it so dumb, right? We can make it smarter, because if we change the URL at all, it's going to run into that same issue. So we could even just copy this whole thing, this update cart stuff, and we can put this here. Instead of product.slug, since we called this item, we change this to item.slug. And again, update cart, it'll remove it, and now our cart is empty. Cool, so that is adding and subtracting things from the cart, and notice the total is updated as well. It goes back to 0, and that is because in our view, when we do update cart, this new total, that is going to be the total unless it's added up otherwise, right? So like basically what this ensures is that it's either going to be 0 or it's going to be the total of whatever, however many product items are in there. All right, cool. So we still have some more cleaning up to do with a lot of different things. So for now, our cart actually does work. It's showing that it works for us now, which is kind of cool. If I wanted to clean up how that cart looked a little bit, I could go into my view and I can just add on the bottom, I can just add another column. I could do the same thing at the top. See how there's that like little bold line that ends there. I could just add another column there, and oops, not TD but TH. And if we were there, now that bold is coming through. So now we have remove, total. Cool, so now we actually have a cart that's working, but we need to make it a little bit smarter than this, and that's what we'll do in the next one. Like, this part is great for testing, but it's not going to work for everybody else because, well, we can't use the same cart over and over again. We have to actually have a new cart depending on who the person is and all that stuff. So in the next one, we'll actually refactor all this to take account for those things. All right, we'll see you in the next one.